Before going into today's story, I need to address a mistake I made on one of my earlier stories. In the story I spoke about when Thomas and Percy got fined, I said, after the winter of 1931-1932 rolled around, when I meant to say after the winter of 1934-1935 rolled around. Somebody reading my stories mentioned this and said that some of the historical events that we talked about didn't align with the dates. Just wanted to clear that up for future stories coming ahead, but to confirm, the year of this story was 1935. Anyways, following up Eric's mishaps from the week before, his repairs took a long while to complete. Most of us were struggling to keep up with doing Eric's jobs on top of our own, especially since it was contract season. We nicknamed it that because summer is always the season when our contracts get renewed. Every engine was brought along to haul goods on the main line, even Thomas and Percy. At the time I'm thinking, the cheeky pair were heading back from Vickerstown after double-heading a long goods train, one that Eric would normally take. As they were heading back to Knapford, they noticed a big black engine on the line ahead, hissing steam. I say, Thomas, who is that? Looks like an engine that's broken down. Oh, and he's broken down on the main line. Yeah, you're right. We need to get him out of there. Come on, let's go see what it's all about. Go away. Just leave me be. Hello, lad. I'm Thomas, and this is my friend Percy. We work for the South Western Railway.
Look, it's nice to meet you two, but you should leave before it strikes you too.
Well, we can't leave you on the main line. That's dangerous. Engines are coming down these lines. You could get hit by one.
Even better, I might just get crushed into smithereens.
Why are you so upset, lad?
Because I'm jinxed, that's why.
What?
Oh, look, my name is Arthur.
I was built only 3 years ago as a prototype for the 2 MTs. Everywhere I go, no matter the circumstances, misfortune always follows me. Even if something can't go wrong, it still does. The worst part is everyone gets caught in my path. Some are more seriously affected than others. That's why I urge you both to get away.
Look, lad, jinxed or not, we have to take you to the works and back to your controller. Yeah, speaking of which, what are you doing on Sodor?
Oh, your controller didn't tell you? I'm supposed to be working with you because one of your friends is out of commission.
That's odd. The Fat Controller never mentioned anything about a new engine.
That's probably because I was purchased today. My old controller was so desperate to get rid of me, he only sold me for about 700 quid.
700 quid? Is he a millionaire?
No, he was just desperate.
Right, and I'm desperate to get back to the sheds. So let's get you moving and... Wait, what's going on back there?
Your coupling broke.
That can't be. I just fixed it today.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm looking at your broken coupling on the floor.
Those workmen probably didn't tighten the coupling right.
Or maybe it's my jinx.
No, it wasn't. Look, how about we push you to Knapford? There won't be any couplings to break then, I'm sure.
By all means, try. Thankfully, there was no accident when Thomas and Percy tried, so they made it all the way back to Knapford safely, where the Fat Controller was waiting. Good evening, you two. Who is this?
This is Arthur, sir. Supposedly the new engine.
Oh, I see. Welcome, Arthur, to the South Western Railway. I am Sir Charles Topham Hatt.
I appreciate the offer, sir, but I really think you'll be better off without me on this railway.
Why is that, Arthur? And why are you being pushed by my 2 engines? Are you broken down?
He is indeed, sir. One of his pistons ruptured and he was leaking steam. And we have to push him because Thomas's coupling broke. Yeah, and Arthur's on about some kind of jinx,
which I think is rubbish.
That's what they all said.
Don't be so downcast, Arthur. You will certainly find yourself home on my railway. Now let's get you to the works so you can fix up your piston. Thanks, sir.
Right, Arthur. Let's get you as good as... Oh, come on, Arthur. You can take your brakes off.
I think they might have locked on their own.
Take them off. Try your hardest.
I'm trying. They've locked on. I can't move.
Oh, well. Great. That means we're gonna have to get a crane.
I'll call for Harvey. You two stay here.
All right, sir.
Well, if there is a jinx, it's not very creative. Oh no, my hat! Get back here! You still don't think I'm jinxed, Thomas? But our number 1 couldn't afford to argue with that, as Arthur was broken down on one of the station tracks. Thankfully, it was at night, so there was no major traffic. And thankfully, Harvey and the breakdown train arrived very soon with the cranes to lift Arthur off the ground and onto a flatbed. But it wouldn't go as smoothly as the trio hoped. Be sure to get Arthur to the works as soon as you can. This flatbed is just cut out for his weight.
Sounds good, Chief. If that's all, we'll leave you to it.
Yes, Thomas, that'll be all. Is Harvey hooked up to the crane, lads?
Yes, Chief. We're ready to lift. The chains are attached to his undercarriage and the crane is lined up perfectly.
Sounds good. Start lifting. What's happening here?
Chief, the crane is jammed.
What? How can that be? We replaced the winches this morning.
That's what makes it even weirder.
Oh dear. Thomas, Percy, can you go to get another crane at the rescue center?
Oh.
Don't whinge, you two. It's an emergency.
Yes, Chief. Aye, Chief. So much for top performance, eh, Thomas? Yeah, whatever. Let's get the crane as quick as we can. Hopefully we can get some time to sleep.
I tell you what, it's an ironic situation that one of the breakdown cranes would be broken down, but things would not be getting any smoother from there. That night also brought with it a thick fog, and fog always causes trouble. But thankfully, all of us are equipped with lights, so we can at least see something through the fog.
Oh, great, there's fog. Now we gotta head back slow. Well, it's better than not going back at all. Oh, whatever. At least the rescue blokes put oil lamps around them. We could probably see them through a wall of lead.
And they were right. The rescue team put oil lamps all around the rescue site. Oil lamps aren't fueled by electricity, so normally, whenever there's a blackout, there's no chance that they would shut off. But unbelievably, out of nowhere, all the lights suddenly turned off. What the?
Hey, what's going on? Where'd the lights go? I don't know. I can't see anything with this fog, man. Move it for Pete's sake.
Stop!
Sorry, Chief. The lights just suddenly turned off. That's never happened before.
I don't know what happened. All the lights were refueled before we left.
How's that happen? Oil lights aren't electrical. They can't just shut off. Either way, we're sorry about this, Chief.
I know it's not your guys' fault, but that doesn't change the fact we have a lot of cleaning up to do. Still don't reckon I'm jinxed, eh, Thomas?
What do you think, Thomas? That's the first sign of a jinx I've ever seen.
Whatever the reason for the lights turning off was, there was a lot of cleaning up to do. Thankfully, when it was all said and done, Arthur's repairs didn't take too long, as the piston model that Arthur needed was waiting in the works the entire time. However, his jinx was still there alright. And we would find this out when he was taking a passenger train with Thomas throughout the island.
Alright, Arthur. Have you ever pulled the passenger train before?
I've pulled a few passenger trains in my third branch line before. They did say I was a smooth rider. That was until the mudslide came from the nearby hill.
Well, that's a shame. Was anyone killed?
Thankfully, no. But they were injured. My jinx just won't let me succeed.
Hey, stop it with that jinx, Arthur. That's all just coincidence. Things just happen to other engines, sometimes more than others.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Alright, that's our cue. Let's go. So, the end line doesn't exactly end at Knapford, as you may have noticed. There's an extended line that's stretched all the way to Harsdale, where there's a narrow gauge line that extends to Crossley Howen.
Why not just extend your railway through there?
Because the railway leading up to Crossley Howen is very steep and requires sharp turns and narrow pathways. That's why the narrow gauge engine's over there now. And over here is Upper Tidmouth. I take it you're not fond of this station? Let's just say I ruined the station master's breakfast on one occasion. How? Don't ask. is Ellsbridge Station. This station connects to the Farquhar branch line. That's where me and Percy work whenever we're not on the main line. Hello, Thomas. I see you with the new engine. Did you bump into him this time? No, Toby, I didn't. Arthur, this is our tram engine Toby. Toby, this is our new engine Arthur. Hello, Arthur. I'm Toby. Welcome to the Southwestern Railway. Certainly the better of the two. Hello, Toby. Wait, there's another railway. Hello, Southwesterners. How are we today? Go away, David. I'm trying to introduce our new recruit to the island. First of all, I can't go away. I have cargo to drop off here. Second of all, what do you mean a new engine? He's talking about me, mate. I'm Arthur. I'm amazed your controller has enough money to just keep buying new engines left, right, and center. It's called hard work, David. Maybe you should try it sometimes. Oh yeah? Well, hard work doesn't justify stupidity. Try telling Percy or Eric that. I'd stay to argue, but I've got hard work to do. Come on, Arthur. Right behind you. Blimey, don't tell me he's always like that. No, that was a nice encounter with them. Who's them? On Sodor, we have a rival company. David's one of the Nor'easters. The Nor'easters are in charge of the Brendan branch line, and they aren't exactly the nicest engines, so beware. Why are there two competing railways on this island, rather than one unified railway? It's a long story. It all started with Thomas then went on relaying to Arthur the falling out of the Hat Brothers. As he kept on explaining, they approached the viaduct. This viaduct crossed over a gigantic valley with a river going through it. The viaduct was a whopping 300 feet off the ground, so if you fall off it, you can expect yourself to be as flat as a pancake. Now, bridges and viaducts are usually maintained on a regular basis to ensure that as little accidents happen as possible. However, there are times when mishaps do occur, this time being one of them, as Thomas and Arthur were moving on to it. And this here, Arthur, is the Grand Viaduct. Goodness, that is a long drop. Yeah, so it's important to always keep your eyes on the rails, otherwise you might end up like this. Oh no, don't worry, Thomas, I've got you. On you, back on the tracks. Holy shit, that was too close. You alright, Thomas? Are you hurt? I'm fine. I'll live. You see what I mean, Thomas? Jinxed. Stop it, Arthur. Besides, maybe the jinx is wearing off. How do you figure? I mean, I didn't fall off the bridge. That's the worst that could have happened, right?
That doesn't mean anything. Something bad still happened. After all, that day the mudslide came, no one died. But that doesn't mean anything good happened. Let's just continue on. Indeed, the duo did continue with the tour, but Arthur lost interest and looked sadly at his buffers the entire time. After the tour was over, Arthur was put on the main line to cover Eric's place for the time that he was in the works. Despite what you might be thinking, the jinx actually didn't affect Arthur's performance at all, for nearly a week as a matter of fact. And Arthur did prove his worth. He was just about as strong as Eric, given his size was very similar to him as well as his wheel configuration. However, at the end of the week, Arthur's jinx came back to haunt him. It was 10 a.m. on a Sunday when he went to Knapford to take a train to Kelsthorpe when he found Adam and Edward talking about a rising party in England.
I told everyone as soon as that confounded labor law was passed, this would happen. Calm yourself, Adam. Britain isn't gone yet. As far as I'm concerned, these people are only just starting.
Do I want to know what this is about? And Adam, why are you here?
I'm not here to be spiteful, Arthur. I'm just having a conversation with Edward that Britain may very well be allied with Germany's confounded regime.
Oh, are you on about that Nazi party gibberish? Don't worry, I'm sure they won't go far.
I wouldn't say it's a cause that is simply worth ignoring, Arthur. After all, tanks, guns, and bombs are being created non-stop. I'm very worried that Germany may start to lash out, and I have a feeling that soon the United Kingdom will find itself allied with Germany.
And how'd you figure that out?
There is a new right-winged party in London called the British Union of Fascists.
Is that as self-explanatory as it sounds?
Yes, it is. Their morals are aligned with many other infamous figures across Europe, such as Germany's Adolf Hitler and Italy's Benito Mussolini.
I don't know why people turn to fascism. Such a close-minded mindset. Why do they do it in the first place?
The same old bollocks that they've always said. Democracy has weakened this country, they always say.
Don't they realize that democracy is the very reason they can protest in the first place? It's a free country after all. Maybe they should try protesting in Russia. They'll find themselves hanging on top of a bunch of roofs.
It's bad enough that this party's already caused massive amounts of strikes all over Britain's industrial fields, and I'm worried if they make their way to Sodor. After all, the island is filled with railways and industries. If they make their way here, half the island will all go on strike. That's assuming half the island will listen to those twits in the first place, which I don't believe will happen. Work will always keep me happy.
Me too. And speaking of work, I understand that I have work to do here.
Yes, that shipment over the fruit, veg, and wheat is coming from the mainland. Specifically, all from Benny Clover and Sons Farming Company.
Benny Clover, you say? I used to work near a countryside on my 4th branch line. I used to pull a lot of produce trains there.
There we go, that's something you might enjoy.
I actually like pulling produce and food trains. I don't know why, but when I used to pop along the countryside pulling those trains, nothing ever went wrong. I used to feel safe pulling those trains probably because the worst that fresh fruit can do to someone is stain their clothes.
Well, don't feel too comfortable, Arthur. It appears as though you have troublesome trucks on your train.
Oh dear, you got them here too. We have them back on the mainland, and they abused the hell out of me. Well, until they got my jinx, that is.
Yeah, well, you need to be very careful with them here, Arthur. The trucks here are especially troublesome. Most of them will do anything to cause trouble, and generally cannot be reasoned with.
Damn, are they really that bad here?
They are much worse than you think, Arthur, so don't take lightly to their tricks. Show them who's boss. Oh, that's my whistle. See you later, Arthur. Take care with the trucks.
I sure will.
Arthur, there's a problem with the trucks.
What problem?
One of the trucks in the front is very old. Its frames and chassis are wearing down tremendously.
Alright, I'll just go find a replacement if that's fine.
No, you won't need to do that. Since it's at the front of the train, nothing will happen to it if you push the train. No extra stress will be on it.
That's illegal, I reckon.
I've spoken with the Fat Controller and he says it's fine, so long as you stay within the speed limits and have a brake van aboard.
Alright, I suppose. I've never pushed a train before.
Without the pushing, Asalati, the fruit ought to go bad.
The workmen should best throw the fruit in the trash and offer to the scrapyard.
Silence, you little demons! Keep in line!
Crikey, that shut them up.
That's the only way you can talk to trucks, Arthur. Once you show them that you're serious, they won't play tricks on you.
Don't get me wrong, Adam, I appreciate the help, but wouldn't it make more sense to just ignore them?
Trust me, Arthur, if it was that simple, I wouldn't have to shout at them like that all the time. Edward has his ways, but I have my own as well. I know that the trucks on this island don't care if you ignore them, so trust me when I tell you this. The only way is to set the record straight, Arthur. Show them who the leader and who the boss is. You got that?
Alright, I got it. Thank you, Adam. I didn't expect a nor'easter to help me out.
You're welcome, Arthur. And if there's one thing both of our companies can agree on, it's that trucks are a blight upon the world. Make sure that you discipline them and keep them in line to ensure a smooth ride.
Alright, I will. Alright, let's get you things to the market. The existence of sentient locomotives is already a mystery, but an even bigger mystery was the awkward pattern in sentient freight cars and trucks always being troublesome. Granted, I don't speak for all of them when I say this. There are some trucks that are actually different from others, but 99.9% of the other trucks are always troublesome. I'll talk more about trucks another time, but for now, the trucks were still giving Arthur a very hard time, and on top of insulting him, we're now starting to sing about him.
Chug, chug, chug. You're old and rough, and you're so rusty you can't even puff.
Oi, pipe down, you little shits! Get in line! The trucks were furious.
In the middle of Sodor's main line, there is of course Gordon's Hill. The hill was named after one of the greatest generals in Sodor's history, Gordon the Great, who put a vantage point on top of the hill during the Sudrian Civil War and fended off against a bunch of northern rebels, and later got its name enforced by when Gordon broke down on the hill one time. But that's for another time. Everyone hates going up this hill. It's the pinnacle point for an engine to stall out. In the expansion of the railway in Sodor's early years, the Hat brothers wanted to build a tunnel going through the hill, but were met with protests by the local people after they stated that it would be an attack on history to manipulate the hill. So the only way they could afford to extend the main line was if they went over the hill, as the surrounding area was private property at the time. This hill is without a doubt the most precarious part of the main line, as it requires that engines slow down to avoid derailing on the nearby curves, but then having to speed up again to go over the hill without stalling out. For inexperienced engines, this hill is the worst, and for Arthur, it would be no different. Arthur was expecting a struggle from the trucks as he went up the hill, but surprisingly, the trucks were acting fairly good. Well, at least for a little while. Because when Arthur reached the peak of the hill, it happened. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Hey, stop that! Of course, the trucks didn't listen, and Arthur was headed for disaster.
Come on, you old fat. Your aubergines are gonna be compost by the time you make it across.
Lose the clutch at the worst time. Great, now there's gonna be traffic on the tracks.
Hey, what is that?
Oh no.
This might be naive of me to ask, Chief, but was there any hope? No, Percy, there wasn't. To put it lightly, we didn't even know it was a person until one of the workmen saw an arm sticking out. Good Lord. I'm not exactly the most religious man on the planet, but why on earth did God create troublesome trucks? One of life's many mysteries, Henry.
Did the man have a family, Mickey?
He did. A son and a daughter.
Oh, that's terrible. Have they been told?
I haven't been told, Edward. I don't know.
Oh God, and what about Arthur? Where's he at?
I also don't know that either, but the last time I did see him, Thomas, I saw a tear roll down his face as he rolled away, trying not to cry.
Poor lad, he's probably miserable. And he shouldn't. It was those blasted trucks that caused the accident, not him.
We have to go and find him, everyone. I'm sure he's grieving about what just happened. And after an incident like this, I fear he may take things to the extreme.
Hello, sir. It's nice to see you so bright and early. Nice to see you too, Joey. What happened last night, sir? I had to stay the entire night on the mainland.
Arthur got into a brutal accident down the line. He bashed into the back of Elise's train, and the guard sadly lost his life in the process.
Oh God.
Yes, it's terrible. If it wasn't for human rights, I'd have those troublesome trucks scrapped immediately.
Regardless, I'll keep that man in my prayers whenever I go to the vicar's.
Oh, as if finding an engine for the Normanby branch line wasn't difficult enough, this happens. Now I have 2 headaches.
Well, what about Arthur? Is he okay?
He pushed the train so he didn't face the frontal impact. Physically, he's alright, but I don't know about mentally.
I actually passed by the works today, sir, and Eric should be out by today. His repairs are completely finished. And as for Arthur, it's not his fault, sir. None of us can help the truck's behavior, or his jinx, apparently. Oh, come on, sir. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Regardless, if I don't find a place for him, I'm gonna have to sell him, and that's gonna be difficult in a few ways. We're probably not gonna be able to, sir. With his record, no one's gonna want to buy him. That also, but it's gonna be very hard to tell him that he's gonna be sold again. The poor engine's gonna be heartbroken if he isn't already. Actually, sir, I think I know where we could put Arthur. Meanwhile, at the sheds, Arthur was as low as he could go. Why, come on, Arthur, cheer up. Just a useless pile of junk who needs to be away for good.
Bollocks! Even with this jinx of yours, you're still a determined engine. You try your hardest, which is more than some engines have on this railway.
What does it matter? With my jinx, I can't get any work done without so much as an accident. No one wants me. I might as well just be at home for the fishes at the docks. No, Arthur, you're wrong. Not only do I want you on my railway, I truly need you on my railway. That's what my last owner said, but he quickly changed his mind. I will not, Arthur, because I have the perfect job for you. One of my engines, Edward, says you have a lot of experience in pulling produce and foods by rail. I did, sir, but the last ones got all squashed. Do not start losing hope, Arthur. The Normanby branch line is opening tomorrow, and the line mainly goes through a large seaside route that leads to the countryside, where there are many farms. Along the coastline, there are many docks and commercial fishes. I actually managed to lease an engine's services to deliver their supplies to the markets or to whatever they need doing. And who's the engine that they leased? Why, you, of course. I appreciate it, sir, but I don't want to cause you or anyone else any more trouble. I'm better off in this shed alone. Oh, go on, Arthur. Give it a chance. What can really go wrong on the countryside?
He's right. I used to work on the country line before I worked on Sodor, and it's a wonderful place to work. Nothing can go wrong. Trust me.
All right, I'll give it a try. But don't say I didn't warn you. But fortunately, Sir Topham Hatt would never have to say that. Since the very first day Arthur settled on the branch line, it was a complete and utter joy for the engine. Arthur absolutely loved traveling through the beachside rails that traveled across the edge of the beach, and then traveling to the countryside that touched the beach, full of animals, produce, and friendly people who all made Arthur feel welcomed into the countryside. I remember when both Thomas and Percy visited Arthur a few weeks after he was assigned to the branch line, where they not only saw Arthur with a new smile on his face, but also a brand new livery. Wow, Arthur, is that you? It feels like forever since I've seen you. Indeed it is, Thomas. What do you think of the new coat of paint? I think it's lovely. I think that shade of red goes well with your design. Yeah, I'd agree, but don't you feel sort of silly? About what? You know, like being a country engine and all that. Not one bit. I love it here. The countryside and seaside are so beautiful around this branch line. It's also making Sir Topham Hatt lots of cash since he's leasing my services to practically every farm and fisherman on the branch line. Especially since he also gave me a few coaches to pull and take the passengers up and down the branch line. He was right. There's nothing that can go wrong.
Uh-oh, I wouldn't say that. Look, lads, there's a fire!
Oh dear, sorry Arthur, I guess that jinx of yours is still here. No, it's not. It's over. That proves it. Well, if I was still jinxed, that fire would have likely spread and reached the town. Or else there wouldn't have been a fire truck and its crew on standby nearby. Well, Thomas, I mean, you can't quite argue with that. I mean, I would have said it was good luck if there wasn't a fire in the first place. But I do see your point, Arthur. Yeah, well, it was nice meeting you again, Arthur. Of course. Feel free to visit any time. And to the both of you, thank you. Thanks for everything. Don't mention it, Arthur. Sudrians always help those in need. That's what we all do. And as it turns out, Arthur was right. His jinx completely disappeared. And it turns out that the fire was caused by a careless farmer who was simply trying to burn off some dead plants and weeds. Arthur continued his work on the Normanby branch line where his jinx never came back to haunt him. And he was a happy engine. Eric soon came out of the works where his new safety valve was in place. Eric always made sure to take care whenever he was taking trains, and he wasn't completely without flaws. However, he did try his best. A funeral was held for the guard after the accident. There were certainly lots of attendees, including people and engines. But among these attendees was a certain thin clergyman whom would probably play the most important role in Thomas's media. But that's a story best saved for a very distant day.